Hey Bears, it's Friday, February 24th, and welcome to The View TV. I'm Marielle.
And I'm Amaya, and we'll be hosting the show today. We will have announcements, entertainment, sports updates, and a look at what's going on in our Bear community this week. The View starts now.
We hope you all had a restful and fun winter break. I know I did.
Same here. What did you do?
I went to Colorado for like 5 days. It was so fun.
That's cute. I took some pictures with my friend Christina.
I know, I saw them. They looked really good.
Oh my God, thank you. I saw your pictures too. They were cute.
Our SAT word of the week is consternation, meaning dismay or confusion.
So how's your day been going?
It was fine till that math test.
What math test?
The one for pre-calc.
The what?
The math test for pre-calc. Please tell me you studied.
Take it.
Well, she's in consternation.
Let's go to Orville with our sports updates.
Hi, I'm Orville and I'll be bringing you the sports announcement and updates for this week. In wrestling news, please congratulate Lex Hannibal for being a two-time state placer, placing 5th at state this year. In basketball news, the boys ended their season 14-14 overall and 2-8 in region play, with their last game being Tuesday against Peachtree Ridge. The girls ended their season 3-22 overall and 0-10 for region play. In lacrosse news, they are now 2-0 overall and 1-0 in region play. In soccer news, the girls at the time of recording are now 4-3 overall, beating North Springs 3-1. Their next game is at home against Buford at 5:30. The boys are now 6-0, beating North Springs 6-2, having a home game against Buford today at 7:30. In baseball news, at the time of recording, they are currently 1-2, with their next game being Monday against Greater Atlanta Christian at 6. Please come out and support our Bears. That's all for this week.
Thanks for the sports updates, Orville.
You know what I've been thinking about recently?
What?
This February, March.
What?
This February, March.
No.
No, but April, May. That was good.
Anyways, let's take a look at what's going on in our Bear community.
Dr. William Greaves was one of the most inspirational African-American movie makers of the 20th century. Throughout his 52-year span in the film industry, he had created around 80 films, which included documentaries and narratives, all of which have been generally well received by the public. But what exactly led to his decision to join the film industry? Well, we're gonna need a history lesson to answer that question. William Greaves was born on October 8, 1926 in New York City. Growing up, he acknowledged the discrimination that was being placed on people of his own race. This dreadful experience supplied him with the motivation to do more with his life than just become another victim to this kind of treatment. At the age of 18, Greaves would begin studying science and engineering at New York City College, but gradually became intrigued by film production, so would drop out of that college to pursue a career in theater. And the first step he took would be in the direction of acting on Broadway. By 1948, he had undertaken a number of roles in the theater, but he would eventually grow dissatisfied with the roles he was being given. Because for the most part, these roles were black stereotypes deriving from racism that was still ongoing in the United States at this time. In order to solve this issue, he decided to move to Canada to start studying at the National Film Board. And after 6 years of working in various stages of film production, he would eventually release a short documentary titled Emergency Ward in 1959. This was the first production that he had ever directed and edited.
13 minutes after midnight. Police call. Corner St. Catherine and Guy. Accident. No details.
William Greaves also had a huge hand in the civil rights movement when he returned to the United States in the 1960s. During this decade, he would produce several documentaries, one of which being particularly acclaimed for celebrating both African and African American cultures. This was a 1968 title, known as the First World Festival of Negro Arts. It was around this time that Greaves decided to start his own production company, simply titled William Greaves Productions. He would then release a film that, at the time, was unlike any other, Symbiopsychotaxoplasm. This film was shot and presented in a style known as cinema verite. Basically, improv is combined with the use of cameras in an attempt to capture the pure reality aspect without the cameras hindering the experience of the film. Many would consider Symbiopsychotaxoplasm to be very notable, mainly due to its meta nature. The main premise of the film is that people are trying to film a scene while simultaneously being filmed themselves. It feels like an acknowledgement that performance and scripting roles are almost never perfect at matching a sense of true tangibility. Although Symbiopsychotaxoplasm was unable to receive a mainstream distribution due to its bizarre concept, up until 2005, and until then could only be shown across festivals and museum screenings, its reception was decently positive. It currently stands at an 88% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 7.2 out of 10 on IMDb. People praised it for its originality and clever self-referencing. In fact, it became so well received that a sequel was eventually made for it, titled Symbiopsychotaxoplasm Take 2.5. It basically continued the narrative of two returning actors from the predecessor. Unfortunately, it did worse in terms of ratings compared to the first movie. Although it had a handful of good moments, people deemed it a disappointing follow-up that ruined the concept of both films. Moving on to the more personal aspects of his life, Greaves would go on to teach film and television acting at the Lee Strasberg Theater and Film Institute of New York City from 1969 to 1982. He even traveled the world, presenting his films to numerous university tourists. He would unfortunately die on August 25th, 2014, in the same exact place that he was born in. But he left behind him his legacy. He has been, still is, and hopefully will continue to be one of the most respected individuals in the film production industry, and his love of African culture, as well as his crusade to create non-stereotypical depictions of Africans in American media, is truly laudable.
Hi, I'm Ezekiel, and today we'll be talking about oil. OPEC and its allies, including Russia, agreed to cut production by 2 million barrels a year. This is the biggest cut since the pandemic began, and it could lead to a spike in oil prices. OPEC wants to see all prices high enough to, of course, make a profit and invest in further production. You're going to lose somewhere around 7,000 barrels a day of supply that was added to the market every week. So basically, the prices of oil are increasing because of OPEC wanting to be proactive in making profits. I'm Ezekiel, and this is View TV. Have a great rest of your day.
Hello, Mountain View, and today I'm going to be telling you some words in Japanese. For this lesson specifically is going to be counting from 1 to 6. Let's start at 1, shall we? 1 is pronounced ichi. Ichi. 2 is pronounced ni. Ni. 3 is pronounced san. San. 4 is pronounced yon. Yon. 5 is pronounced go. Go. Last but not least is number 6, which is pronounced roku. Roku. And that will be all for today, Mountain View. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next week.
Hi, my name is Isabel Crocker, and today for Black History Month, I'll be talking about a person named Gordon Parks.
I have very good memories of my hometown because of my family and my friends.
Gordon Parks was born in Fort Scott, Kansas, and was the son of Andrew Jackson Parks and Sarah Rose, and was the youngest of 15 children. He attended a segregated elementary school and high school that had both black people and white people. Because of the separation, black students were not allowed to play sports or attend school social activities.
I did attend segregated schools. There were segregated situations, and you couldn't take your girlfriend to the drugstore, for instance, to buy a Coca-Cola and things of that sort, which made it rather miserable for a young man or a young lady. In retrospect, I look at all of that, and we did go to a high school that was mixed later on, simply because I think the town fathers could not afford enough to build another high school, so they put it together. And I do remember having one of the white teachers actually an advisor to the black students. We couldn't play football, we couldn't play basketball, we couldn't run track, we couldn't participate in any of the parties or anything of that sort. It was a miserable time for some of them.
At the age of 28, Parks was struck by photographs of migrant workers in a magazine. He bought his first camera for $12.50 at a Seattle, Washington pawn shop and taught himself how to take photos. Gordon Parks became one of the greatest photographers of the 20th century and was a kind-hearted man with deep commitment to social justice. Parks was also a distinguished composer, author, and filmmaker who interacted with many of the leading people of his era, from politicians to artists to athletes and other celebrities.
Named Sarah Little saw your photographs and showed them to an editor at Harper's Bazaar. The editor said they were great, but Harper's had a policy against hiring black people.
He left behind an exceptional body of work that documents American life and culture from the early 1940s into the 2000s, with a focus on race relations, poverty, civil rights, and urban life.
Death every time he said, "But we got a problem." I said, "What's your problem?" He said, This Harper's Bazaar is owned by Hearst Publications, and they don't hire black people to do anything. They even sweep the floor. I don't know what to do. I said, "That's your problem." He said, "It's not my problem."
Parks spent much of the last 3 decades of his life involving his style and continued working until his death in 2006. He was recognized with more than 50 honorary awards, and amongst his numerous awards was the National Medal of Arts, which he received in 1988. With that leaving a big impact on black people in the filmmaker industries, he will be missed and remembered.
Hey, this is Ruj Patel. Alright, all systems go for NASA's third try on the New Moon mission. NASA says it's on track for the Artemis 1 mission to launch on Wednesday. As per the condition of the spacecraft, so far so good for NASA's Artemis 1 moon mission. It's still a go for a third launch attempt early tomorrow morning from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. If and when Artemis gets off the ground, it has some lofty goals. The first mission is expected to be a 25-day journey to the moon's orbit and back. Artemis 3, the final mission, plans to put astronauts back on the moon's surface. This was Rudra Patel from The View TV.
Great videos, guys. I still think my joke was good. Like, get it like February.
It wasn't.
February, March, April. Okay. All right. Well, Bears, this concludes this episode of The View. If you'd like to submit news to be aired on our bi-weekly show, please use the QR code to do so.
This week, we want to give a shout out to Mrs. Jenkins' class for always tuning in.
If you want your class to get a shout out, comment your advisement teacher's name.
Take care of yourself until next time, and as you go about your day, always remember, life is like a stage and someone is always watching.
Stay excellent, Mountain View.